Hello, and welcome to Build and Burn. By the end of this lesson, I hope that each and every one of you will be able to apply the build and burn learning technique. So, a little bit of context on this. Actually, I want to start this differently. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to think about it. I'm going to put you in groups to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about it together. My question is, I want you to think about something you got really good at, something you just rock at. It's probably not programming yet. That's fine. But there's something in your life that you just kick ass at. Could be small, could be big, could be professional, could be a hobby. Something that you just rock at. Take a second and think about what that is. Cool. Now I want you to think about how you got good at that. You probably weren't as good as you are now, at least when you first started. Lots of different ways that we get better at things. But think about what was like really the big thing that made you rock at whatever it is you're good at. Think about that to yourself for a second. Cool. I want to put you in some groups and I want you to share your experiences of like getting really good at something. Stand by. I have fucked this up the last 3 times I've done it. Sign automatically. There we go. But I said assign automatically. It never assigns automatically. Come on, man. All right. All right. So I put you in some groups. I want you to share your experience of getting really good at something. Go.
Literally say the pine sol scented air. So like actually my mind has already brought the two together. It's from Little Shop of Horrors, in case anyone's wondering.
Hell yeah.
For that bit of education.
I just
All
watched
right.
that.
I want to hear some, I'm going to call on some people. I want to hear what some of your things were. Nathan, what's something that you're really good at?
I talked about how I got good at golf.
Okay. How'd you get good at golf?
Well, I started when I was 13. I took a bunch of lessons for like 2 years, and I don't think that they really like stuck with me at the time. But over the years, like I would practice, and I would always think back on those lessons, and like I knew what to do, but I was never like really good at getting there.
Mhm.
And then eventually stuff just started clicking, and I realized that I remembered the lessons and like stuck to what I knew worked, and it ended up just coming together. And now I'm pretty good at golf.
Cool. So one of the things I heard in that is that after taking the lessons, you still weren't all that good. But then you said you practiced a lot and then applied things you were getting in there, but it was practice is a big part of that. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yep.
Ariel, what's something you're really good at?
I am good at singing, especially in the context of musical theater performance. Surprise. And for me, I had like a lot of different ways. I mean, growing up, I took singing lessons, but also I've always just like, there's like the preparing for performance of like, I'm going to go sit and I'm going to practice. And there's also just been like running around singing casually, like just for the sake of it to get to practice in there without like making it practice, just doing it.
Sure. So that's like lots of repetition and lots of different contexts, right? So even in your lessons and stuff, like I was a music teacher for a long time, and you can tell the students where like the only time they ever pick up their instrument is the half hour you're doing that lesson, but you're doing it for a show. You're doing it just running around. You're doing lots and lots of reps on that. Cool. I want to hear from Diana. What's something you're really good at?
Was talking about cooking and just cooking with random crap in the fridge, making it
Cool.
work together.
How'd you get good at cooking?
Practice and failure.
Practice and failure. So why does failure help?
Because then you know, the two ingredients don't go together. Don't try it again.
Excellent. So in education, we call that a feedback loop. So you try something, you get the feedback that it doesn't work, and so now you can adjust your behavior. Like fundamentally, that's all of education. If you don't get that feedback, and this is what happens in a lot of like colleges and like when you're just in lessons, if you're not getting the feedback and adapting your behavior, you're not actually learning anything. So when people say things like, you learn a lot more from failure than you do from success, they're absolutely right. You actually don't learn shit from success. All you know is like this failed to fail this time. Something doesn't work, you get some feedback, that's where the learning happens. So one of the ways that we can kind of create an environment where we're getting a lot of reps in on something. Oh, by the way, I just noticed that like among the three of you, nobody said like, because I went to a really good lecture. I watched this one video and then I was really good at something. Like the reps are what makes it happen. Those other things can be multipliers on practice. They can make your practice more effective. So Nate was talking about like, what are these lessons? And I applied the things that I learned in these lessons to my practice. That's why we're doing this very thing right now. But ultimately, the way you got good at something was by doing it a lot. That's the case with everybody in every skill. Cool. So let's talk about building and burning a little bit. Building and burning is a way to get a lot of reps in on something. So I'm going to give you a pretty structured one that we're going to go through. You can do this with anything. You can do this with the labs. You can do this with like code challenging kind of stuff. You can do this with tutorials. Building and burning works for just about anything. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to model this process, and then we're all going to do it together. It's not a long one, so we should be able to get like a couple of them in. So all right, so I've got this, the repo forked and cloned down. And if actually, let me do it this way. Okay, so I've got this, this README here. It's got a series of steps. I'm gonna do them in order. And there's like built-in checks and stuff all along the way here. So this is dogs and owners. This is the thing we did on the second day of class, where I was like, you won't understand any of this shit, but this is what it looks like when you're done. All right, well, we're getting to like the end of the mod now. So hopefully you're able to follow along with a lot more of this. All right, so step one is to make an environment RB file. So, and again, you should not be following along with this. You should be watching me, and then you're going to do it yourself. All right, so I'm going to make this environment.rb file. Step one over. See, we're getting wins already. I'm going to make a dog, an owner, and a dog owner RB class file. So you can actually do all of those in one go. Cool, I made some files. And then I'm going to require all of my dependencies, including pry. So that goes in the environment file. So I'm going to require dog. Oops. I'm going to require owner. I'm going to require dog owner. I'm also supposed to require pry. Cool. Pause. Why are those a little bit different? Think to yourself for a sec. Why do those two things look a little bit different? Sam, you got a guess?
Yeah, because lines 2 through 4 are from a relative path, so they're local as opposed to pi, which is a more
Which is
macro.
a,
It's a gem. It's I guess it's a
yes, there we
macro.
go.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Gems we do this way. Just regular old files we do this way. Cool. Very good. Thank you, Sam.
Should they be require a relative?
No, they don't have to be. So require relative will also work with directories. But for us, nah, screw it. Just do them one by
Okay.
one. Cool. And then I need to run a pry down to the bottom. So now I want to verify that my environment file works. So I would do that with Ruby environment RB. If that doesn't crash, we probably did something okay. All right, setup's done. For the dog, I want to make a dog class. So I make a dog class, done. I'm going to add a constructor that accepts a name and an age. So constructors in Ruby are spelled correctly. It takes in a name and an age. Name, age, name, age. Done. Add readers for name and age. Done. Create 2 dog instances in your environment. So I hop back over to this environment file and I make 2 dogs. Cool. Done. Verify that those dogs are actually in my environment when I run my app. So when I run this file, those 2 statements should run, and then my binding.pry hits. So I should be able to like look at Bixby and Mesa in there. Can I do so? Bixby, you there? Hell yeah. Mesa, you there? It's working. One of the biggest like mistakes I see Mod 1 students throughout the generations make is not actually testing their code. If you do all like 30 of these steps without running your code and it doesn't work, who knows where that problem could be? If it was working here, sorry, if it was working here and it's not working here, I know the problem was in there. It's engineering, baby. Narrow down the problem. All right, so dog is done. Now I'm gonna go to my owner class. We want to add a class to owner. Like so. Add a constructor that accepts a name. So I need a constructor that takes in a name. Done. Add a reader for name. Done. Create 2 owner instances in your environment. Done. Verify the owners are in the environment when I run the app. Kyle, you in there? Yes. Elise, you there? In fact. Cool, doing all right so far. Now, I need to create a dog owner class. So I go over to my dog owner file. I make the class. Done. Add a constructor that accepts a dog and an owner. Initialize dog owner. Dog is dog. Owner is owner. Done. Add readers for dog and owner. Done. Keep track of all dog owner instances that have been created. Done. Allow all of the dog owner instances to be read. So I need, like, if I shoveled those into this class variable, I need to have a reader for the class variable. Done. Create 3 dog owner instances in your environment. So I can do dog owner dot new Bixby Kyle, Bixby Elise, Mesa Elise. Done. Verify that all the dog owners are in the environment when I run the app. So when I run this app, dogowner.all, there they all are. Can I be sure that there's 3 in there? Well, why don't I just run length on it? There they are. Okay, I need to create a method for adding a dog to an owner. So I'm adding it to the owner, so it's in the owner file. Add dog, takes in a dog. I make a, just like I did in the environment file, dog owner.new dog. And where's the owner come from? Who can tell me?
Self.
Hey, that's me. I'm the owner. Because I'm in the owner class. Cool, done. Create a method for getting all of the owner's dogs. This is the hard part, but even that's not all that hard. So getting all of an owner's dogs, so that means it's in the owner's file. And I want all of the dogs. So I need to get all of the dog owners. I only want the ones where the owner is me. So I say dog owner dot owner is the same as me. So you could call that like my dog owners. And then that's the dog owner instances, not the dogs. So if I want my 2 dog owner instances to turn into 2 dogs, that's a map. So I could say my dogs. It's my dog owners dot map. And bring back something like my dog owner dot dog. Cool. And then I, as like a freebie, we probably want the unique ones, right? So we can say like my unique dogs is my dogs dot unique. And we can return my unique dogs. Cool. It's the longest possible way to write that, but you can do that in 1 line if you're tight enough. But those are all the steps from that. I want all of my dog owner instances. I want to get all the dogs out of those. I want only the ones that are unique, and then I bring that back. Done. So can I get all of an owner's dogs? Oh, who are your dogs? Oh, just Bixby. Elise, who are your dogs? Bixby and Mesa. Right on track. So now I want to do that exact same thing. I want to add an owner to a dog. So this is going to be add owner. That'll take in an owner. And I do dog owner dot new. The dog is me. And then I add in the owner. Done. Create a method for getting all of a dog's owners. It's the same logic we did here. If you're feeling comfortable with the syntax, you can do this like a little bit shorter too. So we could say my owners are dogowner.all, and I want to filter for just the ones where I'm the dog. So I could do a dot filter. I could maybe use this brace syntax and only get the ones where dog owner dot dog is me. And then I can map off of that and get like all the owners out of those instances. So I could do that. I only want the unique ones. Like tight, concise, it's arguably less readable, but it is technically the same thing as all that.
What does that ampersand do?
It's called a pretzel method. It allows you to, like, if you put a symbol after it, it will call that method on every individual instance.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Can I get all of a dog's owners when I run the app? Hey, Bixby, who are your owners? Hey, Bixby, who are your owners? Oh, just these two. Hey, Mesa, who are your owners? Ta-da. Cool. Last thing. Do this one as another little bonus. Create a method for calculating the average age of an owner's dogs. So I could do something like dog, like average age of dogs. And so the first thing I need is to get all of my dogs. Cool. Well, they're right there. So I can just say dogs or self.dogs. Neat. What do I want to do with them? Well, I want to get the average of their ages. So there's probably like a cool Ruby way that I could do that, but I could also reduce it. And that has a cool pretzel method too. Anytime you need to sum stuff, you can do that. That just sums all of them together. Oh, I need to get all their ages first before I do that. So I have all the dogs. I want all their ages. So I could do that pretzel method to get their ages. Again, that's the same thing as
Was
exact
that
same thing. Whichever
a
syntax
method?
you're more comfortable with.
instead of an enumerator?
That
Is
is
it still an enumerator?
That is an enumerable.
Yeah, enumerable. Whenever, no, not that. Whenever you had it in parentheses.
So that is the exact same thing as that.
Okay.
Cool. So I get all the dogs. I turn them into a bunch of dog ages. And then I could sum all of those ages if I wanted to with a reduce. So I could do that as whatever like reduce syntax you want. For summing stuff, the cheat code is that, just sum stuff. So that'll give me the sum of the dog's ages. And if I want the average, divided by how many dogs there are. Ta-da! And verify that I can get all of a dog's owner's ages when I run the app. Hey, Kyle, average age of your dogs, 35. All I have is Bixby. Elise, average age of dogs, 27. So then the last step, once you've done all of this, delete everything and do it again. So I go RM, dog owner, dog owner. Delete them all, delete my environment too, and do it all over again. That is building and burning. Ask me some questions about this.
So regarding what we build and burn, are we pulling things from GitHub that like Flatiron School has for us, or if the idea is like, I'm just making my own thing for myself. I create my own README and then I do it over and over again.
Either way, you don't even need the README. Like this is kind of handholdy for us to get started. But like you could do this with a lab. You go, all right, cool. I did the lab. I got the lab to pass. If you weren't confident in like how you got the lab to pass, whatever, just delete your shit, do it over again. Keep doing it until you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's just under your fingers. That's building and burning.
Could you show the average dog age method again? I wanted to see the, I think you did something like end.reduce when you put
yeah.
that at the end. I've never seen that before.
So yeah, so all this is, it's a little bit clever. You can chain things off of the ends. So like another way you could do that would be like all dog ages equals, and then all dog ages dot reduce. That's the exact same thing.
It
You could also just
bypasses
chain it right off the end.
Okay, and then it's essentially like the same as doing it with the curly braces, right? You would just add,
Correct.
reduce it. Okay, cool. I've just never seen that at the end. I didn't know that was possible.
Well, and if you don't know now, you know.
Hell yeah.
Other questions about this process?
When you required the files, you don't have to do like dog.rb. You can just do dog.
Correct. It'll the only thing that you can require in is a Ruby file, so it assumes the extension.
Oh, okay, cool.
Other questions?
So like regarding the complexity of the methods that you're building out, is that you just kind of follow a natural evolution of like, okay, this got super easy. Now I start adding on some maybe more complex.
Yeah.
And then do the same thing there over and over.
You got it.
Okay.
Other questions about this process?
I have a question. What about, okay, so when students are requesting build and burns, this is like a bit handholdy, yeah? But like in the future, what would build and burns look like when we come to the class? Like, is it just grab a random lab and then just everyone do their own thing? Or just like the teacher follow it? Not follow it.
Sometimes we make them up. So
Okay.
like somebody might say, can I have a build and burn to practice map, filter, and reduce? And so we'll make something up that you can do over and over again that uses map, filter, and reduce.
Oh, cool. Okay, sweet. Thank you.
It's kind of the methodology of our classes, isn't it?
What? Yes. Other questions? Cool. Now it's your turn. I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock. I want to see how far you can get. And if it's really rough, that doesn't mean, what are you going to do? Quit? Like, if it's really rough, keep doing it until it's not so rough anymore. Like, you can effectively memorize this entire thing. Like, and that's even, that's a pretty valid way to learn this too. People who do that, it's called code katas. We're just getting on our fingers. It's a lot easier to analyze what's happening here when it's already just right there in your head, when the keystrokes are right there. And I think a lot of people assume that, well, here's your behind the scenes, this is what we do all morning. A lot of people assume that they're going to take some abstract idea, a vague understanding of how something works, and then apply it to a bunch of concrete situations. And that's not how brains work at all. You create abstractions from your concrete experiences. So I want you to get some concrete experience going through all of these steps. And I would be shocked if after doing that a few times, if some of like the abstract stuff doesn't start to make a little bit more sense. All right, so I'm gonna put 10 minutes on the clock. Let's see how far we get. We'll check back in. Go. Okay, checking in. I want to see a fist to 5. Fist is, I have no idea what we're supposed to be doing right now. 5 is, I've gotten through at least 1 rep. Let me see how far you've gotten. Good, good. Looking all right. Beautiful. Keep going. Cool. So, any questions come up while you were going through that process? All right, if you're hyper competitive, I did it in 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Now keep in mind, I've been doing this a very long time. If you can do it faster than that, you are fast as shit. If you're within like 10, 12 minutes or so, I'd say you're in pretty good shape. Also, an observation that I noticed while I was doing that is that trying to go really fast, I made way more mistakes, like way more mistakes. And so that is always a trade-off that we run into when we're rushing through things. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? All right, our objective was to demonstrate the build and burn technique. I've seen that all of you have done it. So, bon suerte, practice away. Cheers.